Nintendo just did something they hadn't done before. So Nintendo just posted a trailer for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and now we finally know the release date, which is going to be May 21st, 2026, so not that long, only a couple months. And we really needed an announcement like this because we don't know any other release dates for any other upcoming Switch 2 games. We know about Tomodachi Life, but again, that's an original Switch game. So Nintendo really needed to announce something, and we hadn't seen anything about this since the trailer all the way back in the September Direct. But what's interesting about this to me, I'll talk about the game in a little bit, is the price is going to be $60. So up until this point, every single Nintendo Switch 2 game has been at least $70 from Nintendo, not including like small digital only games. Like full retail releases, to my knowledge, have not been less than $70 for the Switch 2. So I think everyone was expecting this to be $70 also, but it's going to be $60, which I think is actually great news because it actually shows Nintendo's finally doing some variable pricing, which I think they talked about, but we really haven't seen. The variable pricing has been $70 or $80, which got a lot of flack because a lot of games that they're releasing, a lot of people just don't see them as worth the price. But $60 for a Switch 2 game, and especially a full Yoshi game, I don't think that's a bad price. If this was a $70 game, I just was not going to get this at the price, but for $60, like that makes me really consider getting this at launch. I typically like the Yoshi games. I think they're fun games for the most part. I don't think they're the most expansive games, like it's not something I usually need to play, but I don't think $60 is a bad price for this. I'm sure some people are going to say like they should have did $50, and I mean, yeah, obviously everyone wants it to be a lower price, but we're finally seeing some variable pricing, and I don't know what that means for the future. Could it mean we're going to see more Switch 2 games be $60? Could this be just the only one? So let's talk about the potential reasoning for this price. So Yoshi is a very well-known character. He's very popular. The Yoshi games aren't Nintendo's biggest franchise. Like, I don't think they could charge $80 and get away with that for a Yoshi game. But we've seen other games that have been kind of questionable for the price, like Mario Tennis Fever. Like, I get it's a Mario game, but it's a Mario Tennis game. The Mario Galaxy Collection, which not even a Switch 2 game, was $70. Pokemon Pokopia, which from what I've heard, it's actually sounds like a great game. Don't know if that's necessarily worth the price either, but that's subjective. I haven't played it, so don't take my word for that. Donkey Kong Bonanza, and again, Donkey Kong is not like Nintendo's biggest IP. Like Donkey Kong himself is well known, but it's not their most popular series. So Yoshi's not like, so a Yoshi game being priced at this, like makes me think, what else are we gonna get that's gonna be the same price? Like, is Nintendo truly gonna have variable pricing, or is this just like a one-off thing? There's no way to predict it, but I'm curious to see where they go in this direction. So some of their other games that were announced, we don't know much info. We know about Splatoon Raiders. I would be surprised if that was less than 70. Same with the new Fire Emblem. Pretty much all we know right now about upcoming Nintendo games. So we can speculate, but no way to actually predict it. But was this always gonna be the price, or are they maybe lowering it due to backlash, maybe poor sales on some games? I don't know. Something like Pokemon Pokopia, I doubt had anything to do with this pricing decision since it's brand new. That's a $70 game, which a lot of people saw as a little expensive, but it's selling out everywhere. Like, clearly Nintendo can get away with a $70 price for some games. Mario Tennis Fever, we'll have to see the sales data on that. I haven't really heard many people talk about it recently. But even some things like Amiibo, like the Mario Wonder Amiibo are $25 each, and that's, again, Mario. It's a main series Mario game, so it is something that's going to have a lot of eyes on it, and it's cheaper than the Donkey Kong Bonanza Amiibo, which was $30. And then there's also the Mario Galaxy Amiibo, which were announced even earlier, which will lower to $35 from $40. So all still expensive, but they have been getting lower in price. It seems like they probably saw the reaction to the Mario Galaxy Amiibo. They probably just didn't get the pre-orders that they wanted, or maybe the retailers didn't. And now the newer Amiibo are a little cheaper at $25. So that's just speculation, but Nintendo is a business. They're going to charge as much as they can charge without losing sales. And I've went over this before, but Nintendo is a for-profit company. They're not a charity. If they feel they can get $70 for a game, then they're going to charge $70 for it. It may suck for consumers, but at the end of the day, their goal is to maximize profit. With that being said, like, let's say a game was coming out and they were charging $150 for it. There'd be almost no one who buys it. So even though they're charging more, they would need to sell so many more copies to make up for it, but they would alienate a lot of the people who were interested in that game. Like, it's kind of like finding a balance. Like, you're trying to charge as much as you can without losing potential sales, or at least not lose enough sales that you can't offset it. And video games are not a necessity. They are luxury items. So it's not like any games that they're making like you need to save your life. It's not like something with like big pharma and charging high prices. Because that's obviously a very different scenario. Like, you don't need any video games. We can call Nintendo out for pricing decisions. We can say, I don't think this price is fair, so I'm not going to buy it at this price. But if at the end of the day you say, this price is high, but I'm going to buy it anyway, why would Nintendo not charge less for it? I'm not defending Nintendo for this, because I think that they have been a little ridiculous with some of their pricing decisions. But people are going to buy their games. Maybe it is possible that some $70 games Nintendo's released just haven't sold the way they wanted to, and they're lowering it. That very well could be a reason why. But but we'll never know the answer to that. The only thing that might give us a better understanding is if more and more games start to come out at $60. I think we're done with $50 games. I highly doubt we're ever seeing a $50 like full retail release from Nintendo again, but $60, like when most AAA games are $70, like that's a fair price. Now, I still hope the game is good. If it's $60 but the game isn't good, then it's not worth it. But it doesn't seem like they're trying to be like greedy with this price. Like this is a standard price, or was a standard price for a AAA game. And the game looks interesting. So this trailer didn't really sell me on the game yet. I like the concept of like the book and having more you could do with the environment here. I also really hope you get like a physical copy of the book in the game because it looks cool. Like I'm just someone who plays Yoshi games like when I get a chance to play them. Like there hasn't been a Yoshi game in a long time where I just needed to get it like launch day. Like the last one was Yoshi's Woolly World, which came out like over 10 years ago now. Fantastic game, by the way, if you haven't played it, even though it's only on the Wii U and 3DS. But for me, a lot of games, like I have so many games in my backlog that unless a game coming out is something I just need to play right away, I'm fine waiting for a sale. I'm fine waiting for a used copy that's cheaper. Like I can tell you how many games I've paid $70 for on Switch and Switch 2. Tears of the Kingdom and Donkey Kong Bonanza and Metroid Prime 4. I forgot about that. And that game's already cheaper now. And for the original Switch, like I said, Tears of the Kingdom, that was one of the few $70 games on there. Because I'm fine just waiting for a sale. There's $60 games I bought on the original Switch, like Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, a few other ones. But my advice, like especially if you're on a budget, is unless you really need a game when it comes out, just wait for a price drop. Like either wait for a price drop, wait to get it used, wait to get it on sale, because that game will still be there for you unless it's some limited copy or something. Like play games in your backlog, play games that are a little older now that you could get for cheaper. The only times I'd really say like it's worth it to get a full price game is, like I said, if it's a game you just need to play right away. Like Resident Evil Requiem, I knew as soon as I saw it I was getting it launch day. I'm a big Resident Evil fan. It's a game that was worth it to me to spend full price, even though I know it's probably going to be like $20 in a couple of years. Donkey Kong Bonanza too. I know you could probably find it a little cheaper now, but I thought the game looked really great. It's something I wanted to play as soon as I could, and I picked it up for full price, and I didn't regret it, because video games are expensive, and a lot of games I just don't think are worth the price from my own personal opinion. A lot of people try to make it like an objective fact, like a game is either not worth the price or worth the price, and there's not really a way you could look at it objectively because value is subjective. Like the same way I may think that $60 for a Yoshi game, like a Switch 2 Yoshi game, is a decent price, someone may say that $10 is too much for it because they don't care about Yoshi. Like, the value is completely subjective there. The same way I think that the $20 ports for Fire Red and Leaf Green were a little much. Someone may say that they don't want to deal with emulation, they don't have the original cartridge, and the convenience of playing on their TV or on the Switch is worth that price tag, and, that's totally fine. We don't have to agree there. I just think if there's something positive we could take away from this, it's that there's some hope for variable pricing, that not every single Nintendo Switch 2 game from Nintendo is going to be $70, because I think I actually said this recently, that they're just not going to release $60 games anymore, that their lowest price is going to be $70, and there's going to be more $80 games. So this actually is good to see. And once again, I'm not praising Nintendo for this, because like releasing some games cheaper is not something that just automatically makes them deserve praise, because they've set up these higher prices themselves, like the higher prices for some games that may or may not be worth it. But we could just look at this as a positive and say, is the game, if the game comes out, it's a good game, it gives you enough playtime, then that's a W by Nintendo. It's that simple. Now, if the game comes out and it's like 2 hours and not a good game, then yeah, we can criticize that price more, and I'm sure the resale market will reflect that. But I also think that a lot of people don't really see the difference between $60 and $70 games. Like they'll be like, oh, it's only $10. And yeah, $10 is not a lot of money. Like if you can afford a $60 game, chances are you can afford a $70 game. It's like kind of the principle of it. Like I've used this example many times, but if I want to go buy a water bottle and it's $2, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But then if they say, you know what, actually I'm gonna charge you $10 for this, I'd be like, no, that's not worth it. It may only be $8 more, I have $10, but the value just isn't there for what it is. That's an argument I've seen a lot of people try to make, is that anyone who doesn't like these prices is broke, which I think is one of the most flawed arguments I've seen in my life. And I think it probably usually goes more the other way. If you have that logic, there's a better chance that you just spend your money on anything. Just because you think something is expensive or more expensive than it should be doesn't mean you can't afford it. It just means that that price that is set for that product is more than you think it's worth. And that's completely subjective. Maybe someone thinks that $10 is a fair price for water bottles for whatever reason. No one's going to stop them from buying it, but it doesn't mean you're wrong for not buying it. I know I've talked a lot about like the price of this, because I think that's a very interesting thing here, just because this is really the first shift we've seen in Nintendo's pricing in the Switch 2 era, where they're finally making a cheaper game, and like a cheaper retail game, not like a digital only game. And like I said, we can theorize about it, but we'll never actually know the true answer. But what about the game itself? So I mentioned this before, but I think it looks interesting. I'm not really sold on it yet. We really didn't see much, and it's kind of surprising to me how little we saw from it. We saw like one level, we saw just kind of a basic overview, and it comes out in 2 months, and we've had 2 trailers of it. We've had no gameplay session, and I'm sure we'll get a trailer closer to release, but does this mean we're going to get a direct showing off more? Maybe. Like, maybe they just wanted to set the release date now and have it direct at some point soon, maybe possibly this month. We just had the Mario Galaxy Direct, so we're getting like everything except the general direct. I think they're either going to have like another Treehouse or direct. I think one of those 2 things is going to happen for this, and, you know, we'll just have to see. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on this whole topic in the comments, and be sure to subscribe.